Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Lois and welcome back to Omnifactory. In the last episode, we went to the Nether, mostly just to explore, try to find a Nether fortress, blaze spawner, all that kind of fun stuff, and just see what the Nether was like. Not much to say about the Nether, to be honest. It's relatively vanilla, so it's kind of cool, but not really anything too dangerous or anything like that. And definitely not like the most interesting of things. That is a skeleton. And I'm going to back up. Alright, so between episodes, I've been working. Oh boy, I've been building a lot. And today's episode is going to be a little bit odd. So as you can see, I've started making our skyway, our skywalk to our factory building. And we'll worry about the basement tunnel later, but I've got a little bit of a temporary door, and as you can see, I've built up the walls, and this is going to be the first floor. Now, I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to handle everything with this. It's still very much a work in progress. We have plenty of room to be able to do stuff, and we can always expand upwards, as well as we actually could expand backwards a little bit with the basement and our general building. Because yeah, there is a lot of space back here. This entire like peninsula could be our factory if we wanted it to be. So there's plenty of stuff we can expand to and whatnot. I still need to go back and add the fences, but for the most part, this is starting to look pretty good. Now we're gonna do a couple of different things today. So first of all, I want to work on getting annealed copper. Now, annealed copper is slightly different than normal copper. It requires oxygen, and we actually got oxygen. I don't know if it was last time or the time before. We're also going to make an iron wand, I think. You know what? Let's go all out. Let's make a diamond wand because it's pretty cheap and easy. Do I have some sticks? I do. Cool. So we're going to make a diamond wand. This is going to help us build. And I don't think I had any wands yet. No. And I've been keeping most of my tools in here. But that'll help me build later, so that's nice. I also have a stack of bread, which is going to be good. And I went mining for some coal. Unfortunately, I haven't had a lot of time to work on stuff here. I am running horribly behind on everything here lately, it seems. So I haven't really been able to invest too much time in doing prep work, so we're going to do a little bit of the work on camera. But the big thing that we're going to do right now is, let's see, you get like a bunch and you get a couple, just to kind of augment all of that power. And this is going to give us a good bit of power for now. Now, fluid input. We're going to put in some oxygen. Now, in order to get oxygen, the way I went about that is you just go in here where our oxygen is, and it says if you click with an empty fluid container, it will fill from the tank. Shift clicking will fill all containers in your hand. So if you have a bunch of buckets, you can either get one or all, depending on how you do that. Now the other thing we're going to do is throw in some copper, and it's going to run just fine. It's going to use up a lot of our power, but it's almost done already. And we'll get some annealed copper. Perfect. Now annealed copper apparently is better for things like circuits and whatnot. And for the record, the big reason why we're like working on trying to get this factory up and running is because I want to be able to work through the night. I don't want to have to worry about sleeping and all that kind of fun stuff. I want to be able to just do all the work as we want and whatnot. So yeah, that's annealed copper. Now I'm going to put it into this chest because we have way too much stuff right now. And let's take a look at the quest book. So there is the annealed copper. It's literally just copper with oxygen in a blast furnace. It's used for a lot of things, namely like making better stuff. I don't know if it's required for Oh, it's required for photovoltaic cells. That's good to know. There's a lot of things. But let's get some pennies. And this is actually in the early game section. Something I'd like to get to is the LV assembling machine. And that's going to require not only the first tier 2 circuits, but the LV robot arm quest. So that's what we're going to work towards today. We also got the satchel. I forgot to go ahead and complete this and claim the reward. But we get some more money. Not too bad. So all of our money is going to go in here. And I think it's like that. No. It's like that. And we get some nickels. And you know what? Let's go ahead. And I think, is it also like that? Yes. It is a cross shape to make the higher money. Alright, cool. Anyways, so we have the wand. We have the annealed copper. The next thing I want to make is the ferro flare lantern, and that is a relatively important thing. Let's also go ahead. We're going to grab the wand, and I'm going to grab like a bunch of cobblestone. Now, we are going to have to be a little bit cautious about this ferro flare lantern, because I've heard it can cause issues. So if it does, we will we'll deal with that as we get there. But this is a device that will basically allow us to light up areas without having to use torches, and it's pretty cheap, to be honest. 2 pieces of glass, a piece of glowstone, and 2 gold. So the glowstone is pretty easy. We have some glass. I'm going to want to get more glass. And then gold. I had to remember there for a second. So 2 gold. And that should make the ferro flare lantern. Right, we need the glowstone. And then we can make that. Now, like I said, there is a bit of a concern for using this. And the big thing is, well, actually, let's go ahead and pop up here. Let's see, I guess this way. Cool. And we're going to use our wand to just finish off this floor. I'm going to have to go look at the controls because I don't know what controls are required for let's see, fluid, no, not fluid mode. It's going to be easier just to search for it, even with my mouse wheel that does not like to work. It is better wands, change mode, so T key. Let's see, what's something we could do? Change mode. Let's do Shift T. I don't know if that will work. I don't really plan on using that, so we'll just get rid of that. And then we should just be able to do T. Yep, that'll be good. So now we can do this. And we're going to want horizontal only so it doesn't build up here. And that is just so that we don't have to worry about things building on top of each other, basically. So we'll just do this, and that is most of our floor, our second floor done. And I guess we can leave that for now. So this is good. This is what I want to see. So there's a couple of the things we can do, but let's pop in here. Yeah, I'm going to leave that. And you can see it's kind of dark in here. So what we can do is let's just put it, I don't actually know how far this spreads, but how big is this building? So this is going to be bad. Actually, Nope. Don't have a tape measure. That is unfortunate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 3, 4. Let's see. This looks about halfway. It doesn't have to be exact. And this is about halfway. So theoretically, we should be able to remove the torches. And the ferro flare lantern will start adding invisible light sources to this area. Now, I don't know what the exact range is or anything like that, but obviously over here it's not really needed. But you can see it's just slowly adding more lights. So hopefully this works the way I want it to. Now, the thing about this is there is a chance. So I put a light, like, we can actually find the lights. Light 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The light is technically right here. It is this air block. Now, the problem comes from the fact that multi-blocks, see, we actually just destroyed that light. The problem comes from multi-blocks. And basically what can happen is multi-blocks might just not form because, well, the ferro flare lantern put light blocks in its place, and typically multi-blocks look and will be okay with air blocks. And these are pseudo air blocks. They're sort of air blocks, but not really. So whether or not the multi-block will actually form, if they're there, is a question. But what we can do, and I think what I'm going to do, is we're just going to remove all the torches in here. And then we're going to leave. And hopefully, actually, if we just kind of hang around, you'll see that most of this darkness is going away. And so the idea is that the ferro flare lantern will illuminate this entire factory without us having to do anything else. Now, I don't know if it'll work underneath. That's something else we'll have to check. But it will, over time, do its thing. So that's the idea. That's the plan. And these are so cheap that we can make more and not really worry about it. So hopefully it doesn't cause any issues. It shouldn't. But if it does, we'll deal with it then. Let's go ahead and make an entrance right here. I don't know where I want the entrance to this building to be. And there's not going to be any staircases in here. We're actually going to use elevators. That is the plan anyway. So we can go ahead and make a couple of elevators. I don't want to make too many like all at once because there is a little bit of an issue making elevators. And that is, well, they require ender pearls. We have a few, but I don't want to use too many ender pearls because ender pearls are super powerful. I did not realize we got a drop of evil last time. That's really good. That's going to allow us to make, what are they called? Cursed Earth. We can make mob farms that way. Now, I don't know that we will use that, but it's good to know we can. So elevators are just wool plus an ender pearl. And if we want to make any other color, we just dye the stuff. We might want to make light gray. Light gray could be cool. So tulips or oxeye daisies. Do we have either of those? We could probably go find some. We do need to get wool though, and that means string. And so let's balance that. And there we go. 2 white elevators. And before we do anything else, let's go see if we can't find some oxeye daisies or white tulips, I do believe. Well, conveniently, they're right here. So I believe these will only give us 1 each. But that will give us some light gray dye. And what we can do is quite simply find some place. For now, we're going to put this right here. We're going to look straight up. And we will actually need a third. But we can do this. And now we can elevate ourselves up and down as needed. Now, if we make a third and put it down here, then things will be a little bit easier because we'll be able to not need a staircase to get to the basement. And so that's pretty much it. That will enable a lot of good things. We can easily get in and out of this building. The ferro flare lantern will hopefully do its job relatively soon, and we can start working on the building a little bit more in terms of kind of figuring out where we want things, how we want things, all that kind of fun stuff. Line of sight disabled. We'll place lights everywhere. Yeah, that's fine. Now, the only thing is I don't know what its range is, so we'll just keep an eye on it. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. So, now what I want to do, wrong button, is press the wrong button. Let's go ahead and sleep, just because things aren't completely lit up yet. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make that robot arm. Because that is not only a quest, but is also something that is going to start to unlock the next section. The next thing I want to make. And the next thing I want to make is the assembly machine. Because it's going to make making things like the robot arm a lot easier as electric motors become a lot simpler to make. Requires, copper that's melted down, but then we just use iron rod, magnetic rod, and tin cable, and it takes everything but the copper, and it just makes that a little bit easier. So for the robotic arm, we're going to need 1, 2, 3 electric motors. So let's go ahead and get that. So we're going to need iron rods and magnetic iron rods. And I've got to remember how to make those. So iron rods, we're going to need 3 for each, so that's 9. And 3 of those will be magnetic. We're going to need some more redstone. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of crafting with this. I do want to get the work table stuff crafted up, and that's something that I'll probably have auto crafted as well, is work tables themselves. And we'll get a lot of good stuff from that. We need more fine copper wire. We're also going to need 10 cables times 6. Alright, we have those already. So, in here, we just need some more fine copper wire, which means we need some copper. Do we have any more? Nope. Okay, so to get the fine copper wire, I've got to remember, it's been a little bit since I've done a lot of this stuff. We're also going to need a little bit of steel. So fine copper wire is wire mill. Just run it through again. Okay, easy enough. So ferro flare lantern, have you? Nope, it's still not getting all of that darkness. Wire mill. Right here. How are we doing on power? That is full. That is mostly full. Cool. So for the other thing, so for this, we're going to need wrought iron plates and all that. We can deal with that when we get there. Circuit. The circuit is also something we can make in an assembler. This basic assembling machine, which is really nice. And steel rods. Okay, most of the stuff is pretty straightforward. Okay, so there is fine copper wires. We'll keep some of the normal copper wires just because might be useful. But it never hurts to make extra of things. So there is 3 electric motors. Now one of these will get turned into an electric piston, so we need 3 wrought iron plates, a wrought iron gear, and 2 wrought iron rods. So that is, I've got to remember how to make gears, alloy smelter, so 8. Ick. So we need 11 and then 2. All right, cool. So that is easy enough. I cannot wait for the day that we can automate some of this stuff and, more importantly, just kind of make everything into machines. So 3 of these, and then with the gear mold in the alloy smelter, the others. All right, and then we're also going to need, we should probably go ahead and get an extra wrought iron plate for the circuit that we're going to need. And I think we have 10 cables and all that fun stuff. So everything else should be okay. This is almost done. And we can get this taken care of. So I don't know how useful. I think you can use the various like motors and pistons and robot arms for various different things. But I'm not entirely sure how that works or how useful it actually is. So 3 of these. The gear. We need another wrought iron. And both of these go in here to make rods. Now, something I should mention, part of the reason why I want to get to the assembly machine before we do too much more, one, I thought it'd be a little bit easier to make stuff, but not really. But I want to make compacting doors, and that requires electric pistons. And so electric motors, if we can make those easier, then everything else will be easier. The assembler doesn't really make it all that much easier, but it does a little bit, I guess. So that's something, that's kind of the reason why I'm going towards that. 2 more 10 cables. We had a bunch of fine copper circuits over there. Can we make one of these? What are we missing? We're missing the vacuum tubes, which means we're missing glass. Anyways, two of the 10 cables. That makes the electric motor, or electric piston rather. And then we're just going to need 2 steel rods, 3 10 cables. So I am going to need to get more. We have the 10 wire. We need rubber. The sticky resin. Do we have any more of that? No. So it looks like we're going to go chop down some trees and we'll get that. So when I have the ability to have a little bit more time, something I'm really going to work on is just gathering up a ton of resources. And something I want to do is eventually, and this is a bit of an eventuality. That is a weird way to say that word, but you know what I mean. Eventually, we will get to the point where there is going to be a couple things that we're going to do to make our lives a little easier. And the big thing with that is one of those trees was like attached to everything, it seemed, which is probably why our axe broke. But one of those big things that we need to do is we absolutely need to have a bunch of, oh my gosh, this isn't annoying. Let's get up here. One of the big things that we need to do is we need to have a bunch. There's another one. Of course there is. We need to have a bunch of compacting drawers. That's something I'd like to have so that we can store mass quantities of ores. Now, we don't necessarily have to have them be compacting drawers right now. We can just go with normal drawers and store, rather than storing blocks and ingots and nuggets, we can just store ingots, for example, of iron, all that kind of stuff. And that'll be good enough for now, but I would like eventually to be able to have just a ton of compacting drawers for all the ores. Just because that's more storage and it's just better in general to go with that. So that's what we'll eventually do. We'll need drawers for like rubber wood and normal wood and all sorts of things as well. So there is a lot to kind of work towards in terms of our storage and all that kind of fun stuff, but for right now, we're not doing too bad. So we need some 10 cables. Alright, so in order to make this, we're going to need 3. Can we just put it in here? Yeah. How useful is it to package your assembly machine? Okay, so we are going to need it for the assembly machine, so we might as well tell the system how to make it. So let's put this stuff back in there. We're going to need 3 tin cables. So let's get one more of these. And then we need some glass, which is something else I want to go get a lot of, is sand, so we can make a ton of glass. So that we just kind of, you know, have it. Wires, I guess we'll put those in there for now. Okay. So we have the glass that we need, which means we should be able to make in here the glass tubes once we make glass panes, glass tube. I think we need 2 of those. And then vacuum tubes. And then primitive circuit. I think we have everything. It looks like it. And then in here, the last thing we need is 2 steel rods. So do we have normal steel? Of course not. Okay. So we can get steel from the alloy smelter, wrought iron, and coal dust. Do I have any coal dust? Oh man, this was something I wasn't expecting having run out of. So steel. Yeah, we need some sort of carbon dust. And that we can get fairly easily. And that's uranite, so not gonna be useful. Let's go ahead and sleep, and we'll get this done. So making the robot arm, like I said, is just so we can make the assembler, so that we can use that later. But what we might, let's see, where, oh, alloys. It'd be in the alloy section. Coal dust, there we go. The big goal is once this area is well lit, and it might light up a little bit better. It actually already has. The only thing that doesn't have light currently is back there. So what I might do is, if I enclose this area, maybe it will finish up. And back here also needs it. So it doesn't need line of sight, which is nice. But we do need to get the rest of this area lit up. I'm going to see if I can find out what the Feral Flare Lantern's range is. The other option, the Torchmaster mod, is really cool. We could use Mega Torches. Mega Torches are a bit more expensive. However, what they do is they prevent mob spawnage for a very, 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 very far region. It's a really good radius around wherever you're at. However, they don't illuminate, and that's what I wanted. So that's why we went with the Feral Flare Lantern. And the lights will slowly decay if we remove the lantern. There's also some other things. Dread lamps, frozen pearls help with getting rid of the residual lights. But things I don't really care about right now. So I just need to, I'll look up information on what I can find out at least about the range of the Feral Flare Lantern, and if we can basically get that to a level that I like, get enough that I want. So let's get the robot arm, and we will remember that recipe. So there is the robot arm. That is completed. We'll get some pennies. So doesn't really do much for us, like in terms of quests and all that kind of stuff, but it is going to help. The other thing we'll need to make is the primitive processor, which is just a bunch of primitive circuits and a diode, which requires gallium. So I will tell you guys what. Let's go ahead and end the episode off here, and the plan will be this. Next time, I'm gonna try my hardest to get some time set aside so that I can work on this base, and I'm gonna build up the factory. Might even do the next floor with walls and all that kind of stuff. That is a little bit of a pain to do. So I might even, this is gonna be really strange. I might destroy a lot of like areas because we need stone for that. Stone or stone brick. So things like this planter, if I destroy this and harvest everything here. That will help a little bit. But like, the problem is there's so much stuff that's not really well placed. I'll probably destroy this planter and level out this area and clean up and just kind of clean up this area. Eventually, I'll probably destroy this building as well, and just make things look a little nicer. But that's kind of the idea. Is we'll just go through and I could also always destroy this building, and when I say destroy, I mean take it all the way down, and that will help give us a lot of stone without me having to smelt it all up, because that uses coal, and coal is more useful elsewhere. So there's things to consider like that, but for the most part, I just need to set some time aside and work on this series and build and all that kind of fun stuff. Also make plenty of framed drawers so that we can place them and get good stuff. So that is the plan. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!